You're listening to Saturday Morning Media. And now, back to our show. Here we go.
Welcome once again to the Grantcast, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Grant Baciocco. It is a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for checking out this episode. And a big shout out to all of our Saturday Morning Media Patreon patrons who are awesome and make this show possible. We'll talk more about the Patreon at the end of the episode. Well, I've been making changes. I've been trying to make changes. And actually, the very first thing that has kind of forced me to make change is I have an accountability partner. I've talked about on here before about the path class that I took and about the creative goal setting class that I took. And one of the things they said is have an accountability partner. And I've asked like a few people, and I've had a few accountability partners for a while, but I have found that having a sort of stranger as an accountability partner makes me more accountable because they don't know me, so they're not going to let me off the hook, right? So there is this wonderful filmmaker named Amanda who took the path class as well, and she actually reached out to me and she said, would you like to be accountability partners? And I said, yes, let's do it. Let's jump on it. Let's go. And so I would say for maybe beginning of August, we have been accountability partners, and it's really been great. And we just every Friday morning, we either FaceTime or even just text. We've been traveling for a while. There was one Friday when I was traveling and she was in London or something like that. So we texted. So it's been really good. And we just connect and we say, how did you do what, we exchange goals for the week. And then, so on the next Friday, we check in and we go, how did you do with those goals? Did you meet all those goals? And they said, we'll say yes or no, or I'm working on this, Okay, what are your goals for the next week? Literally less than 10 minutes, usually less than 7 minutes, or even, it's like around 5 minutes are these meetings. So it's really, really great. And it's really helped me. And I think I've talked about this before, so I'll give an abbreviated version just in case I have. But I've been taking this path class for a while. The path class has been great. It helps me set goals. It helps me do things. But I always have 3 goals, and the goals are always something to do with Toily, something to do with Saturday morning media, like these podcasts, Under the Puppet, that kind of thing, Uncle Interloper, or and then my personal life. So, but my personal life has been, from the very first moment I started taking the accountability class, was to lose weight and to get in better shape. And so when I started this accountability thing, I was like, okay, my goals that I'm going to tell Amanda are going to be all fitness related and about getting in better shape. And so for the past however many months we've been doing this, I have been telling her I want to walk every day. I want to do 2 of those walks, walk every single day. But 2 of those walks are my big 5-mile walks, either with Russ or without Russ. So do those 2 times a week. And then I was doing Apple Fitness workouts twice a week, in addition to all that other stuff. And more recently, I was like, okay, I want to do those Apple workouts 3 times a week. And I moved Apple Fitness Plus, or whatever they call it, has like these 10-minute workouts. And I have moved to a 20-minute workout. So I do that 20-minute workout 3 times a week. And since I have been doing this, I have only ever missed a 1 workout goal. And actually, I think I later that day after we met went and did the workout. So it has been so good having an accountability partner. And it's been so good having an accountability partner who you kind of don't know. Like, Amanda knows I'm a puppeteer. I know that she's a filmmaker, but we're not involved in each other's day-to-day lives. And we just meet to do this. We text midweek, hope you're, you meet your goals and all this other stuff. So it's been really, really great. So if you want an accountability partner, find a stranger. And I guess you can do that through the Path class. I'll put a link to the Path class in there. You have to take the class to join the community. It's that kind of thing. But anyway, it's been super, super great. And I'm very, very appreciative to Amanda for being my accountability partner. And it really has changed how I think of things, and doing the workouts and the walking so many times a week has now made me do like bonus ones. So I've been recently sort of getting up around 6 a.m. and I immediately go out and go for like a 30-minute walk if I have time. It just depends on how much time it takes me to get going, but I'll go out for a walk no matter how long or short, just to be back by 7, to drive my wife to the train station to start her day. And then we actually, most mornings, she will take the dog on a walk and I will go for another walk. So that's a bonus walk. And then I will do the 5-mile walk on Sundays. I will do that. So I'll do 3 walks on a Sunday, and it's just been really, really great. And I've been sleeping better, not great, but I've been sleeping better, and I feel better. The weight loss hasn't been there like I liked over these past 6 or so weeks, but we're working on it. We're working on it. So that is very, very good. And I'm excited. I think I did the 10-minute Apple workouts over 100 times over the whole course of, not within this 5 weeks, but over the whole course of doing them. And then I finally was like, okay, these 10-minute ones, they're too easy. Let me go up to the 20-minute one. And this 20-minute one, they say, oh, when these exercises feel, easy for you, then you're ready for any of the other strength workout things. And I've done this 20-minute one, I would say probably about 12 times. And I'm kind of getting where I think like, oh, this is too easy, but I'm not there yet, but I will get there. I love the Apple Fitness Plus workouts. I will say that I wish they had a thing. They have like a trailer. So before you start the workout, you can just watch a trailer, but that trailer only shows one exercise. I want the trailers to show one complete move of each exercise that you're going to be doing, because when I first start out an exercise thing, I'm like, wait, what? Where do I step? What do I do? Well, okay, whatever I'm doing. And I'm mostly doing the strength training stuff. I'm not. I did try the high intensity workout ones. Did I talk about this on here? They have a 10-minute absolute beginner high intensity workout one, which I've done a couple times, and that's fine. But then I tried one of the like full 10-minute ones, and I felt like I was dying. I'd probably be better at it now. But anyway, there you go. I'm getting in shape and trying best I can. Now I just got to not go out and eat an entire large pizza. That's what I got to do. Oh, the other things that I have been doing is I don't eat after 4:00 p.m. And I have been doing this for probably about 2 weeks. And I have found that I sleep better if I don't eat after 4:00 p.m. I usually go to bed, like I'm in bed around 10:30 or 11 or something like that. But as long as I haven't eaten too late in the day, then I feel really good. And then a couple days ago, I was out with some friends, and we went and had pizza, and we had pizza at 8:00 at night. And I was like, this is going to be a bad night. But luckily it was a Sunday night, and I didn't have to get up super, super early on Monday morning. But anyway, I've been enjoying it. I have been, it's kind of this new focus, and I'm getting kind of addicted to it. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, the accountability partner thing is fantastic. The other night, Tuesday night, I'm recording this on Thursday, October 31st. But Tuesday night, the 28th, my wife is a huge fan of the podcast My Favorite Murder. And several months ago, she had said, my favorite murder is coming, but it's a Tuesday night. I'm not sure if I want to get tickets, but I would love to go see it. And it's over in Pasadena. So I bought tickets, and they had like a VIP thing. So I bought 2 VIP tickets because we would have to sit together. And we were going to this My Favorite Murder thing. If you're not familiar with it, it's Karen Kilgariff and Georgia, whose last name I do not know. They have hosted this very, very popular podcast where they talk about murders. And it's super popular. And it's always, it's one of those things is, as a podcaster, to hear your wife constantly talk about her favorite podcast, which is not any of your podcasts, that's always nice and fun. I'm just kidding. She doesn't have to like my podcast. We have very different tastes. So, but anyway, so I was like, oh, I'll take you to go see this thing. And, it was at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium. It's actually, I realized, where they shot the America's Got Talent that I did with Toily. That was a huge disaster. So we walk in, and instantly I can tell that they're filming. And not only are they filming, they're like filming. Like, this is the setup for America's Got Talent. And I don't know if they're filming like a special, or if they're filming a pilot for a TV show. I don't know what they are doing, but this is all out. And I was just sitting there, and it's just like one of those things where I was like, this is a podcast. This is 2 people who start. Now, I will say, Karen she's not like a well-known comedian, like, just throwing out names like Ellen DeGeneres or Jerry Seinfeld like that. But she's a known comedian. She was like, when I started doing comedy out here, like Karen Kilgariff was on the card. It's like, or on the card, on the, because it was a wrestling event, on the thing. It's like, oh, that's, it'd be a headliner, definitely like an LA favorite comic for sure, kind of that alt comedy stuff in the late 90s, early 2000s, Patton Oswalt, Janine Garofalo, et cetera, Mark Maron, anyway, so they are the hosts. They talk about this podcasting stuff, or they talk about murders. And when the curtains opened and they walked out, the place went absolutely bananas. It was like huge, just crazy cheering. And they never really said what they are filming it for. Georgia at one point said, something about our TV show or something like that. So I think it was a pilot. I think they were doing this to get it on some sort of channel or something like that. But there's a part of me that when I go to something like this and I see how big podcasting can be, I get very frustrated, because I often feel that I am doing all these podcasts by myself, and there is nobody helping. Karen and Georgia found each other, and they were like, let's make a podcast. And very quickly, they had an editor who would help them make the podcast. And it just kind of snowballed into this thing. And I'm very grateful that I have Stephen as an editor, and Stephen is fantastic. But I often feel like when I am doing these things, I am doing them by myself. And there's no one else out there helping me promote the show, helping me produce the show. And by produce, I don't mean giving me money as a producer. I mean produce as in booking guests and helping do the artwork, and it's all me. It's everything. So whenever I see these podcasts, there's a little bit of the green-eyed monster of the jealousy, and like all night I was just thinking, man, if we were still doing Dr. Floyd, we could be doing this. Probably not, because Doug never wanted to do live shows, and he told me as much. But if Dr. Floyd was still a thing, it could have turned into something like this. And so it's a little frustrating, but I also look at it as inspiring. And I also kind of learned a lesson from it. As we were driving there, my wife started telling me these things about the show. And I've heard little segments of My Favorite Murder, and they would do like these little animated segments and on YouTube, and I would watch those. So I haven't heard a full episode of the show, but I've heard, I've heard enough clips to kind of get the idea. But my wife started telling me the details. And the first thing she said was, oh, it's going to be interesting to see what they say when they come out on stage tonight, whether they'll say, hello, Pasadena, or hello, Los Angeles, because the show itself is taking place in Pasadena, but, you're in Los Angeles, so are they going to say Los Angeles? And I wonder what they're going to say. And I was like, I don't know. And then she said, and I bet whatever they're wearing, they'll talk about how it has pockets because they love pockets, and everybody loves when they talk about if their dress or if their pants or whatever has pockets. And then there was one other thing. There will be an audience representative, and I wonder how they're going to choose the audience representatives. And that's really interesting, and to see who that's going to be. Literally the first thing that happened when the curtains opened and everyone went crazy, gave them a standing ovation, and everyone sat down. They both said, it's both of them at the same time, hello, and one of them said Los Angeles and one said Pasadena, and they were like, okay, let's try it again. And then they said it again, but then the other one said Pasadena and the other one said Los Angeles, blah, 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 blah. And then they were like, hi, everybody, whatever. And then they were talking about what they're wearing, and then she was like, and look at this, and she puts her hand in her pocket, and the place goes bananas. And then as we go on here tonight, there is a audience representative, and here you are, and where are you from? And the whole audience representative thing is interesting because it is someone who's local to the venue who can help them with pronunciation of names and street names and places and all this other kind of stuff. And it got me thinking, it's they have these, I don't even know what you would call them, but they have these bits that are in every single show, and the people can count on those bits being in every single show. And then I started thinking about Toily, and I was like, what does Toily have where everybody knows when they tune in that they will hear this thing or see this thing, or there will be this segment? And on our Sunday live streams, The Squat, we have a fan art segment. We have a food review segment. So there are those things. But I don't know, like Toily always says, if he's leaving, he'll say, gotta go, right? Or, his motto is, you're either on the roll or in the bowl. And I was like, oh, what if I start saying that at the end of everything? And then that becomes a thing. Because on My Favorite Murder, the last thing they say on every episode is, stay sexy and don't get murdered. So if Toily would say at the end of every live stream, you're either on the roll or in the bowl, I love y'all, gotta go, or whatever it is, to build that thing in there. And another thing I loved about their show was that one whole segment, Suzanne was like, oh, they're going to do a homegrown. Oh, they're doing more than one homegrown. And homegrown means they talk to somebody in the audience, people who submit things, about a murder that happened in their hometown or something. It's not always a murder. Sometimes it's like a ghosty type thing, supernaturally type thing. And I was like, okay, and then I was thinking about other podcasts. There's a podcast called My Brother, and Me. And that's people send in requests for advice. And then there is, another, it's not a podcast. Oh, I guess it is a podcast. The Therapy Gecko, where people call in and they have problems and the Therapy Gecko helps them. And so then it's this is, they're using user submitted content, but that makes people feel oh, I could be up there. That's one of us. It's not just them talking. So it was interesting in that respect to learn some lessons on what works and what doesn't work, and see, I don't know how yet, but see if I can apply them to the world of Toily, to the world of my other podcasts. I know when I do the Advent calendar, Advent calendar season is coming up. But when I do the Advent calendar, somebody remarked one time that I started every video by saying, hey, everybody. So I was like, okay, well, now I got to start every video by saying, hey, everybody. So What are the toily things like that where he can start every show the same way and he can end the show the same way? I don't know. We'll figure out. But it was a very, very interesting evening. All right, friends, that is going to do it for right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Thanks all for all the feedback about the walking show. A lot of people got in touch and said they didn't mind it, and so I appreciate that. I didn't want to do another walking show right after that walking show, so this is not a walking show, but that may happen again sometime in the future. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for downloading, checking this out, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody. This episode of the Grandcast was made possible by the Saturday Morning Media Patreon patrons who've gone to patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up a pledge for as little as $1 a month. Patrons at the behind-the-scenes level and above get access to a video of the recording of these podcast episodes, and all patrons get access to the audio of these episodes the moment they are edited. Big shout out to all of our patrons, and a special shout out to our patron producers, Kathy Crawford, Eve Cunning, David Akers, Tony Urbano, Brandy, Scott Armstrong, Paul, Ricky Chavez, and Lee Thompson. If you'd like to become a patron and receive commercial-free episodes of the Grandcast before they are released, visit patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up your monthly pledge today. And thank you for your support. This episode of the Grandcast is copyright 2025 Saturday Morning Media, Grant Baciocco, executive producer. All rights reserved. www.saturdaymorningmedia.com.
You've been listening to Saturday Morning Media. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.